So, good afternoon, everyone. This is the final session for today of my community, my career, my future careers fair, and we'll be having the industry we're dealing with now is finance. In this group, our speakers are as follows: um, Mrs. Mrs. Damilola Osunjimi. She is head of the assessment unit of the LIRS as Lagos State's Inland Revenue Service. We also have Mr. Babatunde Alayo. He's the head of retail and e-business at Sovereign Trust Insurance PLC. And we have Mr. Seyi Alade. He's relationship manager at Zenith Bank. So I'd like to say a warm welcome. I'm sorry, Mrs. Oshunjimi is being represented today by Mr. Mohammed Malik. I'd like to say a warm welcome to everyone. Thank you for taking out the time. Without you, this cannot be successful. I'd like to thank our participants who have joined, and we'll go on from here as time goes on. We trust that more people will join. Okay, it looks like also Mr. Shea Alade has been seems he has been logged out. This is a network issue. Anyway, so once again, thank you. You're all very welcome. My name is Fumi Olaore. I am a career development facilitator, and I have the privilege of serving as the executive director of Save a Child, Save a Nation Foundation. And the whole point of this um, of this careers fair is just to open up the young people's eyes. You know, you are industry leaders. You are current industry leaders. We're bringing you in contact with our future industry leaders, so you can pass the baton. So we have our anchor who has joined now. Mrs. Olajumoke Amoo. She's the creative director of Adire Garden. So let's welcome her while I move back. Mrs. Amoo, you're on now.
Thank yeah, thank you very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Facilitators around the okay.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
So
I had difficulty with my network
okay.
switching devices from okay.
Yes. Okay. So Mrs.
So where are
Oshunjimi is
we? Please,
being
who is with us now?
yes. Mrs. Oshunjimi is
Okay,
being
okay. Mrs.
she's
Oshijimi is from LIRS.
yes, she's being represented by Mr. Mohammed Malik. And we
Okay, I
have
can see
Mr.
Mr. Alliance.
Yes, Mr. Alayo is here and Mr. Shea
Okay,
Alade
okay,
is
okay.
reconnecting.
Okay, Mohammed Malik, Mr. Alayo too is around.
Yes,
Mr. Babatunde Alayo.
yes,
And then I can see Mr. Oluwase Alade. Okay,
yes, he is
okay.
connecting now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome, our facilitators, to the career fair, my career, my future. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for choosing to give of yourself to the future. I mean, the letter you're writing to a world you will never see. The words you're speaking now, you're speaking to the future, you're speaking to great minds, you're speaking to people who will look back and be forever grateful that they were part of this program. Thank you. I'm sure that Mr. Lowry has done a bit of introduction about what Taxan is about, save a child, save a nation. So we just go straight into the program so we don't delay further. Thank you. So, Mr. Malik, I don't know. I want us to start with you. You're representing Mrs. Damilola Osunjimi as at the LIRS. She is the Aid Assessment Unit. So I would like you, since you're representing her, perhaps maybe you could introduce, we know a bit about her, so you could tell us about yourself. I'm sure you are more than capable for her to have said you should step into her shoes. So please, we'd just like to know what you're doing, your journey into work, your journey into this career, and a summary of yourself. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Good
Can you hear
afternoon,
me?
sir.
Loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes, I
Malik
can.
Mohammed is my name. I work in LRS from assessment unit. I'm representing my boss, Mrs. Damilola Osunjimi. She is unavoidably absent due to some official commitments. I've been working with LRS for the past 12 years,
Okay, thank
and I've
you.
worked at
Thank
the
you.
tax audit department for 5 years, then 7 years in assessment, 7 years in counting. So basically, what we do in LRS, we are the computation unit of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. All assessments being raised, all tax computations raised as it concerns individuals or employees of companies in Lagos State are being raised from the unit, tax assessment unit. So all those things that are raised will amount into revenue, which is finance, which is part of why we're here discussing finance. When it goes out to the public, taxpayers, to be specific, if they don't have any reason to object, if they don't have anything against the assessment raised, let me add again, the assessment raised will turn into a demand note or demand notice. If the taxpayers are not aggrieved, they don't have anything against it, it is deemed or assumed to be final and conclusive. Thereby, it means they should pay within a specified time, which is 2 months, 60 days. But if they are aggrieved, if they have any reservations as to why the assessment is excessive or not making sense, they have a window of 30 days to write an objection letter. In this objection letter, they will state their grounds of objection as to why it is excessive, and they submit to the LIRS.
Okay, Mr. Malik, sorry to cut in, sir. Sorry to cut in, sir.
All right.
Okay. Sorry to cut in, sir. I would like you to begin your journey as somebody who was a young person venturing into the world of finance. Now, you've started with the nitty-gritty of your job, but because of our audience, the young people in junior secondary school, senior secondary school, we want to know how you started your career path. You said you were in accounting. Okay, did you study accounting? What did you study in school? How did you begin your journey about yourself into this LIRS where you found yourself, and then you're building a career path. So we'd like to start from there before you teach us so much about your job, sir.
All right. Thank you. My journey began, I didn't read accounting initially. I jammed accounting by accident, the professional accounting.
Okay.
Though I had a stint with accounting in school, I did business admin. So after graduation, I found myself in Access Bank operations unit. From there, I left after 4 years to LIRS. I was relatively young. When I got to LIRS, I put in for CITN exams, Chartered Institute of Taxation exams, which I found relevant to what I was reading, to where I was working. After doing that, it wasn't enough. The tax background wasn't enough. I found that for you to be able to relate or have something to do with professionals, experts from the corporate world, because LIS is seen as like a government parastatal. They see us somehow like we're not well grounded. That's the perspective they have about us. So I pushed further after CIT and the tax professional exams. That okay, let me have an edge. I went to sit for my ICANN, that's Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, because that broadened my horizon. I saw a lot of things that okay, the CITN is not enough. It's just peculiar to one aspect, which is tax. You know, like ICANN will like open your mind to okay, what finance really is. Then you now see that okay, for finance, there's tax aspect, there's every aspect of tax in finance. Every financial decision you make has a tax implication. So that was how I became someone that was more grounded in finance and tax. So so today I still work in LRS assessment unit. That's been my journey so far.
All right.
Thank you.
I have a lot of questions that are popping up in my head, but because you are not just the only one you are not the only one on this panel for finance. I would like Mr. Alade to also speak. I want him to give us his journey into the world of banking. He's the relationship manager at Zenith Bank. I mean, let's know how your journey, because a lot of people want to know. As young people, most of the time, there's this disconnect. You're looking for mentors to teach you, to grow you, to help you fit into the dream that you have. So we want to know your journey so far, how you ventured into banking, I mean, about yourself and the career you have found yourself. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, the moderator and the co-panelists. I greet everyone on call. You've already introduced me, but however, I will start from the beginning. Yeah, Seyi Alade for simple, for short. That's my name. My academic activity started roughly over 20.
Network. There's a itch. I can't hear. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
I hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Seyi Alade has been logged out.
I think Mr. Alade is no longer on the call. I think he has network issues. Can't see him here. Oh, he has been locked out. It must be network. Okay, not to worry. Let's have Mr. Alayo then. Let's have Mr. Alayo in the world of insurance. Mr. Alayo, insurance. Same question too, sir. Your journey into insurance, I mean, your career path as a young person growing, how did you arrive at doing insurance? We would like our young people to know about you and how you journeyed into the world of insurance. Thank you, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, Madam Moderator and everybody there.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
Good afternoon.
my name is Babatunde Alayo. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I currently work with Sovereign Trust Insurance PLC as the head of retail and e-business. I started my insurance like 15 years ago, but you know, like they say, if you can sell insurance, you can sell any product. That's the way. Because when I joined insurance, I counted myself as the least person to be a salesperson. I never thought I could be a salesperson, although I studied biz admin in the university. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah, I studied biz admin in the
Yes, sir. I'm
university.
with you.
So when I started insurance, I never thought I could. I started from another industry entirely, from food and beverage industry after leaving university, before I eventually found myself in insurance. And when I got to insurance, something that amazed me was that the first person I told I got a job. Can anybody guess what could be the response from that person? Because I'd like it to be an interactive session.
Who is going to buy
Maybe you will
insurance?
help us with what we-
If the response, it could have been encouraging. But you know, like I told immediate head sister was the first person I called that I've gotten a job. She said, "What kind of job?" I said, "With an insurance company." She said, "Tunde, I hope you have enough money to buy enough shoes because you are going to walk the streets of Lagos and all your shoes will have a different cut."
Ah,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
My shoe will have a haircut, like they say then.
Interesting.
So
Ah,
after a bash, I waited in myself because he used to tell us, you dare not tell my father that the first question is that pass that subject or that course, at least agree with me.
Yes, sir.
So having said that somebody passed, the next thing he will tell is that why not you? You understand? With that message on in my system since I was a child. So whatever I'm doing, I always look out for if there's anybody doing it and doing it well. So after getting that message from my immediate elder sister, I got there the following day and look out, is there anybody doing this and is succeeding? Are you with me?
yes.
Yes, sir.
Thankfully, the person I saw happened to be a stammerer. Another case entirely. You know, you find a stammerer in a marketing environment. You wonder how he's doing it. Is that not the first thing you think of? That how is a stammerer selling a product to people whereby you need to talk to people? You know, insurance is an intangible product where you need to do the talking and to bring it to a picture. You understand? So looking at that and said, if this guy who is a stammerer can do it, I believe I too can do it. At least if I'm not other eloquent, my case is not as bad as this. So that's how I started. And here I am 15 years down the line. I've moved from this, my third insurance company I've been working with, and God has been faithful. I believe with my little, and you know, insurance is all about finance. Your finance is complete without insurance. Because like they say, if anybody knows the story of where insurance even came from, can I continue?
Yes, sir. Yes, quickly continue. You have just a minute to round up.
Okay, I just wanted to say how insurance came to being. It's actually from the Bible, the story of Noah and the ark. Ark represents insurance. When he was calling everybody, there was going to be rain, this and that, go into the ark so that you won't be swept away by the rain. So ark represents insurance. That's how insurance came to being. Thank you for the time being.
All right, thank you, sir. So I'll still be asking another question from you before I move on to Mr. Malik. So Mr. Malik, please get ready. But before you go, sir, is this from what you said, from what you've given us now, would you advise any young person to go do insurance? I mean, is this something you advise young people to do?
Yes, it's something I encourage a whole lot of people to do now, most especially this time around where the job is not all out there. Because one thing you are going to gain from doing insurance is going to develop your.
Yay.
You have muted
You're
yourself.
muted, sir. You have muted, sir. We didn't get you. Sir, you are muted. Mr. Alayo, you are muted. Wow, will you hear us? Oh,
Alayo, we can't hear you. You've muted yourself. Okay, now.
you muted yourself,
Can
so
you
we
hear
didn't
me?
get your response. Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you
Hello,
now.
sir. Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I said insurance is something that develop, most especially insurance marketing. You know, there are so many aspects of insurance. It's not only in marketing, but the good thing about insurance is that almost everybody in insurance is involved in marketing. Like here I am, the company I am here, even down to the MD, everybody has a target that whether you are in marketing or not, you have a target of something that you, at least for you to feel among or what is going on here. And through that, one thing that insurance will help anybody, most especially when you are in sales, is that it develop your entrepreneurial spirit. Being an intangible product, you have to sell it like a picture, like a tangible product. So it's something I encourage. I've been able to, I've involved in, since 2008, I've been involved in training young people in insurance. I've been involved in recruitment of insurance agents and staffs since 2008, and I'm still doing it up to date. I know some of the people that I've encouraged, that I've trained on the job. I know where they are and what they've done for themselves.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So, Mr. Malik. Thank you, Mr. Alayo. Mr. Malik, yes, the question now is, okay, you said something beautiful. You started off, I mean, business, and you didn't intend to go into this. You did a bit of accounting. You did, I mean, some courses here and there, and then you are in LIRS, and it's been a while. I'll still say you're still a young man. No one wants to get old. Okay. What would you advise? Would you advise a young person to toe this line? Okay. Before you even tell us, okay, as a young person, this is a good career path, what would you explain revenue as or tax as to a young person? I mean, how important is that job? How important is this career path? I mean, Lagos State Inland Revenue Service. I mean, what would you explain as revenue to a GSS 3 or a GSS 2? What would you explain as the crux of your job to that young person before you now say, okay, this part is very good? It's not the traditional career path that we know. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an engineer, you are this, you are that. So what's the juice about your job that would make you advise a young person to toe that line?
Okay.
Did you
Thank you very
understand my
much.
question, sir?
Yes, thank you very much. Let me start by giving a
Hello,
general
sir.
definition. Can you hear me? Start by giving a general definition of tax. You know, tax is a subset of revenue.
Okay, sir.
Revenue is broader, but tax is just one aspect. So by defining tax, I'll say it's a compulsory levy, compulsory payment that is imposed on citizens by government when it's imposed and citizens pay, it affords the government with the wherewithal to build public utilities, to pay staff salaries, and to cater for Nigerians or populace. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these taxes are imposed on people, taxable people, not everybody. Anybody that falls within the tax net. That if you're taxable, can be an individual, it can be a company, and so on. So while revenue is broader in scope, by revenue, this is what every country in the world depends on revenue. You can call it internally generated revenue or revenue that is sourced from somewhere. When it's generated internally, that's where tax comes to play. So to now see what will be the crux, what will make me advise or encourage the youth to pick this thing as a career. Let me go to the Arab country. Let me use Arab countries as examples. For instance, Saudi Arabia, UAE, where Dubai is, Qatar. Before, they used to behave like socialists, like cater for their own people or build their stuff from the natural resources they have. But these natural resources are depletable. They can start reducing in future. It might go into non-existence. So they had to now look inwards. By looking inwards is to try to generate revenue internally by imposing taxes. You see that example of taxes, they've gone into things like value-added tax, which they didn't used to do before, which means they see this tax as something important that can help develop their countries more than where they are now. So that's one of the importance. Then what tax is about is that government expects tax authorities, which is us in LIS, for instance, to be able to generate revenue. When we generate revenue, there are three basic things we do. We collect the right amount of taxes. Sorry, we assess, then we collect and we account for monies collected. Before you can be saddled with this kind of responsibility, integrity and trust has to come to play. So which is one of the basic things, basic qualities. So for the young people out there, if you're looking for a career that involves integrity and trust, tax administration is one of them. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you, Mr. Malik. Thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Malik, still on you, sir. I don't want you to go yet. What subject combination would you advise a young student to pay attention to be able to, do very well in this course or in this career path?
If it was before now, I would have said quantitative. Yeah.
Okay, if you study accounting too, or anything that has to do with finance, so what are those subject combinations?
Okay, but trust me, before now, I would have said only quantitative subjects like accounting, finance, business admin. But the way the world is now.
Quantitative. Okay, that's for primary school.
No, not that. Quantitative subject, like subject that involves like e.g. accounting, that it's only about figures. That's what I mean by quantitative subject.
Okay.
Not the quantitative aptitude. Okay, no.
Yeah. Yes, okay, but quantitative courses. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
But now, because a lot of qualitative factors have come to play, it has to be a combination of the quantitative and the qualitative. Like, so the law is one of them. Law does not involve calculations. Do you understand?
Yes.
But because tax is a function of law, was born out of law, tax laws. Like, for instance, personal income tax is from Personal Income Tax Act. So they are born out, there are issues of law. So a lawyer can fit in because they will help us to understand and interpret the tax laws. So I won't really say they should focus on any aspect or any subject. It's a combination of subjects
So
For instance,
practically anybody can fit in.
yes, anybody can fit in. But someone with a quantitative mindset will have an
Anybody.
edge. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody with a quantitative mindset will have an, so the person should do well in mathematics, further maths,
Yeah.
anything that has to do with quantitative
Further math,
analysis
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yes,
Okay,
give you an
but then
edge.
qualitatively,
Yeah, a law student can fit in because you will need to draft and interpret tax laws. Because it's a law that will enable, that will give you the power to go and tax somebody, to go and tell someone to pay tax. They'll say, okay, what law is harming you? It gives you that right to tell me to come and pay tax. So it's a hodgepodge, a combination of subjects.
okay. So this is beautiful. What you're saying is anybody can fit in as long
Yeah.
as you're able to have the prerequisite knowledge of quantitative and then qualitative.
Yes.
And then the mind and passion.
Yes.
Okay, I will still come back because I have a question for that. But let me go to Mr. Seyi is back. Mr.
All right,
Seyi
yeah,
is back.
I'm back.
Sir, can you remember where you stopped? Where so we pick up from? You're telling us about your journey into work.
Yes. I was at the
you're working with Zenith Bank, okay?
I was at the introduction stage, trying to
Yes.
say a few about where I started from. Basically, my career path or my choice of course of study at the uni actually prepared the ground for my career within the financial services sector. Then what would be my advice basically what I will be, what I want the upcoming ones to actually learn or what I wanted to know. Basically, you need to know your strength, you need to know your weakness, and you need to know how to be strategically positioned for the career or any job or discipline that you want to take as an individual. I was privileged in the sense that I have a few siblings ahead of me that were actually working within the banking environment when I was leaving the university. I didn't come to banking as it wasn't an accident, so it was a journey or something that I've actually predetermined that okay, this is what I want to do, and that led to be my option to actually study economics. Okay, basically, since our audience they are more or less like secondary school and those that are just leaving secondary school, looking at what will be the future into the uni and the choice of career that they want to pick. Mr. Malik actually said a few of things that for someone that wants to know more about finance of industry, or that you want to develop a career, or you want to pick a career, or you want to study a course that relates to finance, your starting point is you must strengthen your numerical ability, because it's an industry that has to do with numbers. So you must know that you are coming into an environment that you can't run away from figure, because figure is the language of the industry. So, and the starting point is mathematics should be your best friend. And a bit of IT, because IT is we're not privileged to know more. The little we know about IT now, we're not privileged to know when we're in secondary school. But I want to advise everyone at this stage that ICT is something that any secondary school student should take very serious. Economics is one key subject, because that's the bedrock of finance. Out of economics, you begin to see the commerce, you begin to look at accounting and some other actuarial sciences that require, but economics actually gives that foundation. And for a secondary school student, truly, the kind of economics that are going to be introduced to at that stage, they are more or less like foundational subjects. So it prepares you for accounting, it prepares you for commerce, it prepares you for anything that you want to do within the finance environment. Then another one that you can't run away from, your verbal knowledge and communication skills is key, because apart from reading and you're going to be doing a lot of speaking. You're going to be talking to people. You're going to be having a lot of documents to write and all those things. So my advice will equally be that you can't run away from verbal. You can't run away from English language as a whole. So these key three subjects I've mentioned now for secondary school, I think is something that everybody or anybody that is looking into that sector should develop capacity to master these three subjects. It's going to help in the journey. All right, thank you. So I think that's a bit of introduction. So do you have any specific?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. You already delved into the second question I asked other moderators about how you would advise young people. You already advised young people already. We didn't even get your own journey, but I got what you were trying to say. I mean, it's in line with what Mr. Malik and Mr. Alayo said. I mean, quantitative, taking it because it's a field of figures. But for Mr. Alayo, insurance, is it really a field of figures? Is it really a field where numerically you need the quantitative, I mean, you need the numerical strength, I mean, the quantitative analysis? I mean, from what you have said, I think insurance is basically about selling intangible goods, something you can't see, but people need, and so it makes you an entrepreneur. You're trying to sell something to an audience, something they can't see, they can't feel, but you have to make it, you make it tangible. What is intangible? You make it tangible so they can see it and buy into it. Is it slightly different? The world of, you are muted, sir. The world of insurance, is it related?
They are all interrelated, like Mr. Alade mentioned the other time about the actuarial science. Now, insurance, when you are talking about anything finance, insurance is inclusive. Like a secondary school people now, like taking economics, commerce. In fact, the beginning of insurance is from commerce as a subject in secondary school.
Yes.
We're going to insurance in commerce in secondary school, and all the quantitative courses subject to are involved in insurance, because we have actuaries. Those are the people that determine the rate to give to any insurance value. Are you getting me? And
yes,
where I only use my own side because of where my strength lies is in marketing.
Oh.
That's why it looks as if I depth more into marketing.
That is what insurance is all about.
And you know, because in this part of the world is what we take to people. In this part of the world, people don't go for insurance. People take except they are on an option. You understand? So insurance is like that on its own. But when it comes to finance, they are all interrelated. Anybody that will study insurance with the courses that that person or subject to in secondary school, of what anybody studying economics or banking, the same thing they will do. What will qualify you to study banking and finance, economics, accounting will also qualify you to study insurance in higher institution.
Okay,
Did you get that?
okay.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, I can hear you, but the network is breaking. It's not so stable.
Okay. What was my last statement you heard, please?
You talked about insurance. You talked about the actuaries that determine the rates. You said it's because you were particularly into the marketing field, and it's not just, that's not what all insurance is all about. That it's broader than that.
There are people in the back office that they don't even go out for marketing, but like I was trying to explain the other time, that any subject in like secondary school, the subject that will qualify for somebody to study banking and finance, all the subjects in the area of finance, what you will need to take to do anything in the area of finance is applicable to insurance as well, both the quantitative and the qualitative. And insurance also have professional bodies whereby somebody can become a professional insurer.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay.
You're welcome.
I would like to ask, okay, Mr. Malik, sir. Now, for somebody who is not, because finance, like you rightly have established, you need numerical strength to thrive in this journey. For somebody who is not so good in mathematics and yet wants to pursue a career path along maybe one of these paths, maybe finds himself, maybe an opportunity opens up, or maybe he has somebody who is going to help him when he's through with school in an insurance company or at LIRS, or you know how it works. What other extracurricular activities can the person involve himself or herself in that can brush up those things that they will need when he gets into the field of work, especially finance as a career?
Okay, thank you very much. When it comes to finance, basically, we know it's quantitative in nature. Figures are involved. Yeah, but these days, because the world has changed, or the world is changing, in fact, it has changed. If you have software knowledge, there are softwares that are finance related, or courses, for example, business analyst. There are modern courses now, we didn't used to have them as courses then. So there are courses that you can learn on Coursera, Udemy, business analyst, like 6 months, 3 months. It will bring you to speed as to what the world of finance is about. Those areas can help. Or you can enroll
in
into
secondary school. In secondary school, the curricular activities, extracurricular activities that they could,
you can do in secondary school.
In secondary school.
Yeah,
What kind of extracurricular activities? You know, we have
definitely
they're not going to do
accounting.
literary and debate. Maybe
to be financial accounting.
Yeah, exactly. Financial accounting as extracurricular.
Okay, when you say extracurricular, that means outside school. That's what you're saying.
No. Yes, there's something that we have like the Jet Club. We have
Jet Club. Yeah, if there's a finance club,
music,
no, those ones they won't fit in.
Yes, there's I think this can be a good recommendation. Finance club. I don't think we have finance club. What we have, I think it could be a recommendation that there could be a finance club so that we teach young people about money and about finance.
Yeah.
Especially with the rate of what is going on. Everybody wants to have money. And I'm still going to ask you, in working in the finance sector, has it brought in much finance to you as an individual? Working in that sector, has it brought in, when I say finance, I mean money.
Yeah.
Has it
Yeah.
brought
That's
to you
supposed to be relative.
working in that sector?
Yeah, it's it's relative.
Okay.
The amount of what you say money to somebody might not mean much money to another person, but it gives you this knowledge on, okay, how do I, the little I have, how do I apply it? How do I make the best use out of it? You know, finance basically is about how you generate money, how you utilize money generated, ways of sourcing for money and ways of utilizing it. So when you have this knowledge, if you have little, you make the best use of it. If you have much, you ensure you don't waste it. So that's basically what the knowledge of finance will help you do.
Okay, what you're saying is that has given you the knowledge.
Yeah.
That field has expanded your knowledge. Okay, I'm going to ask
Yeah.
Mr. Seyi. Mr. Seyi keeps our money in the bank. He works in Zenith Bank. He probably has a lot of money, as in being in that career. I mean, for several years, he's been in that career path. As a young student, because I'm just looking for a path where I will work and I will be fulfilled as a person. Do you think that when I work in the bank or I work as a banker, I will be able to have the two where I'm fulfilled working and I'm rich? Mr. Seyi, sir.
Okay, on a lighter note, if you work in a bank, you can't.
Yes,
I keep referring to Mr. Mali. Yeah, he said it's relative.
Sir?
You know, he said being rich or having money in quotes is relative.
It's relative.
So what you mean by having money, of course, you're going to be comfortable. Yeah, you can work and be comfortable. You can work and be satisfied, because when you have passion for what you do, okay, that's the starting point. So the satisfaction comes from meeting your set goal or set target and growing on your career path at a time. So that's what brings satisfaction. So if you are referring to as an industry where you are going to make a lot of money, I would advise such person to focus on the showbiz and entertainment industry, or you become a footballer. That's where you can see the kind of money that will actually make you. But to bring it back home, truly, finance industry, or let me speak within my subsector, is an area that even when you are rich, even when you have so much to throw around, the ethics of the industry does not give you the opportunity to get involved in some things that ordinarily a showbiz person will do, because people have this impression or notion about bankers. Bankers, you must live a very conservative life. Your lifestyle must not depict what people will see, that they will make them to be saying that, oh, these guys are living on my money. So when your customers, when people that leave their funds with you in the bank do not have that kind of trust anymore, I can bet you that regardless of your level or where you function within that space, they are not going to leave their money with you. They are not going to bank with you. So because we see series of institutions that collapse as a result of mismanagement or issue of corporate governance that actually comes in. So because of the audience that we are looking at, because of our target audience, if you want to work in a bank, you need to erase the impression that you want to make, because you see people bringing money to the bank, you want to have a lot of money. You are not going to have that kind of money. Then secondly, there are some soft skills that is required for one to actually survive in this industry. You know, even even when you are not told in the school, or when you are not, there is no particular course that covers some of these skills that you need to have to survive the industry. You know, the issue of contentment, I think is general, it's universal. When you talk about contentment, you know, the religion talk about the family, talk about values and all those things. So one, you must be content with the little that you earn on monthly, on yearly basis, so that you make plans. One, to be prudent with the little that you have. Then two, to develop ability to save for the rainy days. You know, in economics, there is this consumption theory. You know, we know consumption, we know savings and investment. You know, so that is the smallest unit of developing the national economy. Me as an individual, I must know that whatever I earn, I don't consume all. I develop capacity to be able to save,
Yes.
and from my savings, I should be able to make investments. So these are the things that will actually take you to where you want to be in terms of how rich that you want to become. You know, it's from the little that you save over time that you make investment. It's the investment that brings returns that make you rich eventually in your course of working within the banking and financial services environment. So I hope that addressed that question.
Yeah, thank you. And you actually even moved to the next question I wanted to ask you about soft skills that were needed. I like the angle you took it from, because a lot of young people want to get into jobs where they will hammer on time. So I like the fact that you said, okay, it's not just about making the money, make the mindset, okay, you as an individual, this is the career you want to pursue. So it's not just, it's every sector. So for young people, we need to keep on emphasizing. It's not, you're not just going there to make money to earn, you are there to add meaning to your life. And then the soft skill you particularly mentioned was contentment. Apart from contentment, are there soft skills that you would need in the world of finance? I know that Mr. Malik mentioned something around integrity. If you're looking for a job that has to do with integrity, okay, yes, that is finance. So what are those other soft skills? Because finance is a job that you're looking at, it's attracting you, and yet you are looking at it. Should I venture into it? Will I really get the finance that is making me to jump into that career? So what are those soft skills that you would advise that as a young person begin to have, apart from contentment? What are those things as a young child, as a student, you are in school, you are not earning, you are learning? So what are those soft skills that you should pay attention to, apart from the subjects that you are being taught, so that when you get into the world of work, it will be seamless?
Okay, thank you. I've actually mentioned one, which I think is very, very key. Then there are so many of them. I will limit it to maybe 3 or maximum 4. And I will start from, in addition to contentment that I mentioned, accountability is another key thing that you need to, you must be able to develop capacity to be accountable for your actions to your peers and your superior. So meaning that if you really want to go far in this journey, you must learn to be able to give a good account of yourself to your peers, your colleagues at work, and your superior, or possibly your employer. So where it's necessary, where it requires you to make to give account of what you've been able to do over time. And when you say accountability, it might be very too big, but I want to simplify it. You know, it starts from, say, for example, I mean, GS, I mean, SS3 now. So I think those all are mature in this. I know that I need to prepare for SSC, and the courses, the subject that is required to come out with excellent results in my SSC. So. I identify them. I train myself to understand what we require. Then again, where I think I have weaknesses, I don't cover up my weakness. You know, I go to a classmate or a teacher that can actually so everybody
I don't know. We can't hear you properly again. Ah, the network. Okay. Mr. Malik, thank you for still hanging on. It's like you have the best network. Okay, sir. I was asking about the soft skills, and then I know that the soft skills he mentioned are also soft skills that are needed in your career path when it has to do with revenue generation and working in that field. You already mentioned integrity. You mentioned contentment, accountability, because when you hear finance, people work because of finance. So when you are in that finance sector, you expect that, I mean, you have everything. But what do you see as the challenges in the future? You know, you see, you mentioned one thing. I don't know, I can't remember how you put it. Like now, in the next 5 years, I don't think your field, your sector will remain same. It will not continue the way it is now. A lot of things have changed before you came in, the way it was before when you joined, and it's still going to change. You said the world has changed. It's still changing. We don't even know when it's going to stop changing. So what are those challenges you foresee that a young person that is targeting coming into that career path should begin to take cognizance of? Those challenges that you see, that begin to toe this line, begin to do, what are those challenges in your field that you foresee in the future? And then you would say, as a young person, I know IT has changed a lot of things. So we tell a lot of young people, pay attention to IT no matter your field. So what are those things that you foresee in the field of finance that you would advise a young person to begin to take cognizance of?
Thank you.
Yes.
I will still, before I answer that question, I still want to add one more attribute that one needs to have: discipline.
Okay, sir.
Discipline is also,
Beautiful.
yeah, very key. So let me leave that because of time. Let me now go to the challenges I see now. Automation, because finance, with particular emphasis on LIRS, in raising or generating assessment, we are more or less just above manual, above the manual method. We still, although we are computerized, we use our Excels, we use some software, but these days we're trying to bring like an ERP, a bigger software which has started, but it's not in full force. So when this comes, the challenge is that anybody that is left behind, that is not adding to what he knows already or trying to go the IT way, will be left behind. So I implore the young ones, that whatever effort or whatever opportunity you have, grab this knowledge, this IT skills. It's general. If you have an IT knowledge of IT now, It will help you wherever you find yourself, be it finance or any area. For instance, the young ones are going into coding now. Coding will make things faster. Like if you, instead of trying to do something manually, for instance, let me give an instant case. We used to filing of taxes. Filing is saying, okay, come and submit your returns, filing of returns annually. If found out everybody would just come, Excel, do a hard copy and a soft copy, put it in CD and submit. But with the advent of electronic filing now, from the comfort of your home, you can just submit your documents that, okay, this is my returns I've filed from wherever you are. If the young ones have this knowledge, it makes things easier for them. Then for finance to finance itself, instead of calculating like simple interest manually or compound interest manually, for instance, there are softwares, you just put your parameters there, boom, it gives you what you want. There's artificial intelligence, just feed into a system what you want to achieve. Like you want to have an investment plan tomorrow. Now, okay, you want to sink an amount, you want to get like sinking fund for n time, like a number of years. Just by the click, you already know what it will give you. So IT is basically the new world order, is the way to go. Thank you.
Hello, Ms. Jumoke.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
It seems
You're
both
still the only
Mr.
one.
Alade
Okay,
and
Mr.
Mr.
Malik,
Alayo, it seems both of them have been logged out.
yeah. Okay. So we have just Mr. Malik. Okay, no problem. Mr. Malik is already doing a good job. I think what he's been saying covers many of the aspects. Okay, so Mr. Malik, sir, for you as a person, what particular challenge did you face working, apart from the ones you foresee for young people? What about you? How was it? How is it? I mean, what particular challenge that has kept you on your toe, that keeps you improving on yourself in this field? What particular
Yeah, okay.
challenge, or what is it
Okay,
that
I'll
has
start by
been
saying,
really
yeah,
tasking
on
that
a
makes you?
okay, on a daily basis, I interface with external people coming from outside, like consultants, like the big four, PwC, that's PwC, KPMG.
Okay.
So because the impression is they know a lot. That's the perception we have outside. So you have to be prepared. You have to be on your tools, 110% ready for them. Because when they practice a lot, we are kind of like regulators and administrators. Our aims and objectives are always conflicting. They want to minimize revenue or taxes for their own clients. We want to get maximum revenue for government. So our path will always cross. So it's when I arm myself with the basic requirements or what I need to know that I'll be able to face them when they come, whatever they come with. So for us to resolve, you have to be highly knowledgeable, know what is going on around with taxes for you to be able to level up. If not, they will just throw you to the cleaners. They'll just mess you up. They'll make you feel like you don't know what you're doing, that you're not supposed to be here in the first place. But you're able to match up their energy. They will invite, okay, whenever they have issues, they can even call you, okay, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So it gives you this sense of, okay, belonging, okay, thank God for knowledge. So I think that's basically it.
Okay. Mr. Alade is back.
All right. Apologies. So, can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. All right. So, okay. Should I continue from where I saw?
Yes, so that question ask was, so what are the challenges that you see in the banking sector, and how do you and what's the like
Okay, sorry, sir.
bank?
Hello?
Yes, did you hear me?
Hello, sir.
I'm trying to hear. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I have to change my device. My laptop is having issues. Okay.
I've been looking for one. I don't know why the network is so poor today. I'm
Yes,
looking for one connection to another. All right. So quickly, let me continue from where I stopped. I was trying to say a few soft skills that is required to survive within the financial services environment. So I've mentioned contentment, as you rightly said. I've mentioned accountability. Accountability starts on oneself, you know. Then a bit to that is being able to lead oneself. You know, leadership is very large, but I will summarize that your capacity to lead yourself, okay, to achieve a particular purpose time, will actually come handy when you come into an environment like banking, especially in our world. Then another one that is very important is delaying gratification. You know, we started off by saying that would the industry make you rich? Yes. If you can delay your gratification, you can delay the gain, you can delay the kind of money that you want to make, okay? Because you are coming into an environment where you will be privileged to see people's assets form what they don't even disclose to the closest person in their family. Okay, you see those things, you see their network, you see all sorts as pertains to individuals. And one there is this usual thing around it that you don't like your banker. Just the way you treat your doctor is the way you should treat your bankers, because they know where your money is at. They can either help you to manage it, you know, growing, or they can as well help you to squander it, you know. So, and for an average individual out there to have that comfort to do business with a particular bank, one, it starts from the relationship that you create, that you nurture over time. Then, back to what we're saying, you must learn to work with people. You must be people's person to survive. We are talking about soft skill, right? You must learn how to manage people, talk to people, and build relationship over time as regards banking and financial services, because you are going to be hearing a lot. And again, too, you can't be a very new person. You can't be a very someone that can't keep secrets. You can't be someone that will go into a bar or the popular say a beer parlor. I'm going to be talking about the transaction that is going on in your brand or your bank or the customers that you are managing their form. You know, there is something that we call oath of secrecy. You know, we owe customers the responsibility to be able to keep their information as best as we can, non-disclosure. Okay, so if you don't have that ability to be able to manage the way you handle issues, the way you keep secrets, the way you talk about people's issues, you know, when you come to, in those days when we joined banking, they told us that the things that happen in your branch office or your location, you dare not even discuss with your wife at home. Oh, we move X amount of money yesterday, and you get home, you are telling your wife, and the people listening, or you are making call. People can hear that, oh, there is X amount of millions sitting in the vault of a particular bank somewhere. So those things must not be heard of any banker, and it starts from the stage of secondary and the primary school. So being able to cut excesses, the things that others will pick as gifts should not be a gift to you. Should not be, oh, I want to talk about this. This is what is happening in my location. Because we work with information, we work with so much of information that you must do your best at all times to ensure that you keep your mouth shut when it comes to managing people's funds. Right? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think Mr. Malik summed it in one word when he said discipline. He said it's a soft skill that you must have when you're working in the finance sector. So finally, sir, I want you to word of advice for the young people that will be listening and watching this, especially for several times. I mean, we have a lot of young people who tune in and then watch this over and over again, especially when they want to know this part. What advice would you give them?
Okay, my advice, while we're speaking, really, my contribution has always for anyone that is actually serious about their career and the choice of career path that they want to take. You know, it starts from oneself. It starts from knowing what you want in life, or what you know, what you want to make out of life, or basically, because the world changes on, I would say second, on minute basis. So the knowledge of yesterday might not be relevant today, and might not be relevant tomorrow. So our world today is well dynamic. You know, the usage of ICT have actually changed so many things around our world. The traditional way of doing banking, of how people consume financial services, have actually changed. So your knowledge of banking, where they use Tally, has actually changed to a one-stop bank branch where you go and get your transaction done. However, that was like 10 years ago. The world has actually changed now. So people do banking now without seeing the bricks and wall, the four walls of a bank where it's located. So they consume financial services without knowing the stock, without knowing who are the brain behind these products and services. But at the same time, they do banking, they consume some of these products. So my advice would be that in your learning, in your developing capacity to be relevant within the space, you must be up to date, be abreast of what is happening within the industry. In the news, you must know how news affects what happens in financial indicators. Russia, Ukraine, they are at war. They are just two independent nations that are fighting. But I can bet you today, we are feeling the heat in Africa, yes, in Nigeria. So you must be someone that listens to the news, must be close to what is happening around you. You must be interested in government, who is really who is occupying where. So meaning that you must be someone that's readily available to consume as much information that you can consume at all times. Either relevant now or not relevant to you. And where some of these issues will come up, what will make you continually relevant is how you are able to juggle between some of these issues, some of these topics that will be coming up. So the physics, chemistry, biology, math, English, the traditional way of getting them across the world, they are actually changing. I can spend a whole day on YouTube. I was highly impressed when Mr. Malik said something about Udemy. So there are so many learning platforms on the internet that you don't need to know. All you need to do is your willingness to know. Okay, you can learn programming, you can learn project management, you can learn digital skills, you can learn how to make use of social media to make sales. And the social media channels, they are quite wide. Some know Facebook, some know YouTube, some know Instagram. There are so many of them out there. And the metrics to measure your activity on this platform, they are equally there. So if you are not someone that goes online to chat, you can develop knowledge within the space of knowing how to analyze. We have Google Analytics, we have so many analytics, we have Twitter Insights, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. There are so many things that you can actually learn. So if you are not chatting, if you are not someone that is chatting, you are not selling, you can actually be selling your skills to other people that want to know how their social platform is performing. So we can see that it's quite different from the chemistry, the physics, biology, geography, and all this that you possibly be teaching in school. But the earlier you start, the better you get. And
Wow, can't hear anything anymore. Thank you, sir. Is this still on? Oh,
I think he's frozen now.
can't hear anything anymore. Hello?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. So finally, I just want Mr. Malik to also give us a word of advice to our young people. All the finance moderators seem to all have a lot of things to say that are in common. Mr. Malik, sir, please, would you like to add anything to what Mr. Alade has said? You're speaking to young people who are looking up to you. What advice would you give them?
Just to move a bit further from what he said it well. But I would like to chip this that it has to be continuous learning. Just don't rely that, okay, when you get to a point, okay, I've known it to an extent, let me rest. Don't rest. The world is evolving. It keeps evolving. Who will believe? Let me give you an aspect of finance that we didn't used to have. Nigeria didn't used to look at Islamic banking or Islamic finance. Who would have believed that the current administration, like the former Minister of Works and Housing, Fashola, had to go into that place, that aspect of finance to build some roads outside. If you go outside Lagos, there's some infrastructure that was built through Islamic finance. But I don't think anybody will have believed that. Sukuk bonds, there are bonds which are finance terms. So when you keep abreast with what is going on in the world, you can key to any area. For you to invest, learn. For you to spend wisely, learn. So it's continuous improvement, nothing more.
Continuous improvement. Thank you so much, Mr. Malik. I enjoyed talking to you, Mr. Seyi and Mr. Alade. Thank you. I said Mr. Alayo and Mr. Alade. Thank you so much. My network. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful session. It's been beautiful, and I enjoyed every bit of our discussion. And I know that the children out there will send in their prayers. They'll be so happy to listen to this afterwards. Thank you so much. It's great having you on this talk show. So I'll just hand over to Mr. Larry, the convener of SACSA now.
Okay, thank you so much. It has been a very enlightening session. You
Yes, it
know,
is.
unless you sit down to speak with people, you really don't understand the things that go behind it. So I love every bit of what I've learned today, and I'd like to say a very great big thank you to all our speakers, Mr. Tunde Alayo, Mr. Seyi Alade, and Mr. Mohammed Malik. Thank you so much. Thank you to our moderator, Mrs. Jumoke Amoo. I'm really grateful. You have moderated very lovely. And I'd like to say a last word to thank our sponsors of this program, which is Help Alliance. Help Alliance is the CSR arm of Lufthansa Airlines. So they are main sponsors and our partners, Mapubi Foundation from Germany. So I'd just like to say thank you for making this possible. And once again, thank you to all our speakers. Without you, this will not happen at all. So thank you once again. We'll be putting up recording. So as many students who watch it in the future, they'll be able to see this and learn. So thank you. And we'd just like to say goodbye for today. And we send our greetings also to Mrs. Osunjimi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.